Our next stop, Menasha, Wisconsin, the hub of America's paper and packaging industry. You know, our world is growing at a frenetic pace. 10 billion people by the year 2050. And that's going to require a lot of food production to feed that many people. But today, food waste is a huge problem, and it requires innovative ways to package that food to protect its integrity, as you're about to see. Every year, 30% of global food production is lost or waste. And that means continuous innovation is needed to improve ways to protect and preserve the food on its journey, from the farmer to the plate.
Flexible packaging is important for the consumer because what it does is it actually extends the shelf life.
If you look at the supply chain of producing food for human, 90% of the carbon footprint on the planet is actually producing the food itself. Protecting the food, plastic or metal or glass, is actually 10% of the carbon footprint. So what we need to do with our 10% is to make it recyclable and recycled so that plastic never end up as waste.
And packaging is what TC Transcontinental is all about for its global consumers. With 40 years of innovative history and entrepreneurial spirit in packaging technology to not only protect the product, but also inspire the consumer to sustain the earth.
We need to blend art, science, and technology to create a package that accentuates the brands, protect the product, sustain the environment, and inspire the consumer as well. So that's our journey, that's our mission in flexible packaging.
So Francois, how important is preserving history while at the same time the innovation going on here?
Well, it's important. This building is almost 100 years old, and there's a lot of new stuff happening inside, but you can learn a lot from your past, from tradition, and it could help you move forward, you know, in a sense, learning from your history.
As a leader in flexible packaging in North America and Canada's largest printer with over 9,000 employees and 44 operating facilities worldwide, TC Transcontinental Packaging specializes in extrusion, printing, lamination, and converting of plastic and paper products for packaging in the food and consumer industries, offering a packaging experience that not only protects our global food products, but also supports the circular economy for our environment.
Actually, the biggest challenge is to make sure that plastics never becomes waste. We want to be part of the solution. We want to design and produce flexible packaging that is recyclable, and typically that contains a certain amount of recycled content. In March 2019, TC Transcontinental has signed and was the first Canadian-based manufacturer to sign the Ellen MacArthur Foundation Circular Economy Global Commitment. And this fits perfectly with our strategy. TC Transcontinental has committed to 100% of our packaging to be recyclable, compostable, and recycled by 2025. This is an ambitious commitment. We're very serious about it, and our operations, our R&D teams are fully committed to make it happen.
And flexible packaging like this is a game changer in the packaging industry. The innovation all takes place here in the R&D labs of Transcontinental.
Well, all this research really is intended to create the optimal package. And optimized used to mean, I think, just performance and cost. And now it's certainly performance, cost, and sustainable. If you walk through the lab, what you'd find is microscopes where we could look at cross sections of packaging films. We can make out the different polymer characteristics on other equipment, say other stations in the lab, where we could say, is this polyethylene, is this polypropylene? And we could test performance tests, say heat sealability, which is critical for forming a package. We could look at barrier properties, which is critical for shelf life. So all of it ties back to some kind of functionality that we can replicate here in the lab.
The lab tests even include environmental heat and humidity testing in storage rooms with temperatures set to replicate tropical or even a desert location.
The first chamber is a tropic chamber, which is temperature and humidity controlled, and typically that's run at 100 degrees Fahrenheit and 90 degrees humidity. It's very large, so we can actually put in whole pallets to test at condition. So we can do vibration testing, compression testing, as well as storage life, accelerated aging. And finally, we have another chamber, environmental chamber, same size. We call it the desert room at high temperature, 140F. And the 140 is basically for accelerated conditions, so that we can calculate accelerated aging studies. But in essence, it's like looking at a semi-truck trailer in the desert in the middle of summer.
The current lab that we're in is our packaging applications lab. We actually do a lot of innovation up front before we take that package to our customers to make sure it runs and performs on their equipment effectively. It also allows us to create many different layers that will give different performances for those packages so that they can have different characteristics to be able to protect the product inside. The end goal is something that protects the product, reduces food waste, and stands out on shelf.
This is one of our latest innovations. What's really important about this package is this happens to be a piece of meat with bones in it. Bones are very abrasive to packaging, and in this case we must protect against any punctures that would happen either during packing of the meat or distribution or retail display. So it's very critical that we have a very tough package that also provides good shelf life with respect to keeping the meat fresh.
I think the end result is that we can educate the consumer so that they can understand the value of the flexible package, but at the same time make sure that the package is actually recycled and that it doesn't go into the oceans or to our landfill. So it's really that communication and the innovation around making sure that that doesn't happen.
It's all about continuing a legacy of sustainable packaging for our food supply, from the very source of our food products to its end of life.